Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Happy first full week of May. All of the things. Happy Cinco de Mayo. All of the things. I hope your household is healthier than our household, which my big accomplishment for this day at May is that I have both of my children at school, so I can be working and doing the things that I love. I love my children as well, but yay, they are at school for the moment, and hopefully they're doing well. Just kidding. They're healthy and have gone back, but it's been a run. I wanted to jump in and chat with you about we're coming to the end of the year. Some of us are really at the end of the year. My kids, I now sit in California, so my kids are done the week of Memorial Day, which as an East Coaster, I don't think will ever fully sink in that I can attend a all-school assembly on the first Friday of May and be told, it's our last of the school year. And for those of you that are in this camp, yay, we are almost done. And for those of you that are in those wonderful states where you go through the end of June like I am or used to, you're doing great. You're doing awesome. You can totally get there as well. But regardless of if we have 2, 3, 5 weeks, however many weeks we have left in our school year, we're all coming down to the final yards or miles of the school year. And it's a great time to think about how do we help engage our students with data? And this post-state testing time can be a great time to help our students practice their data skills, work on things, more exposure, build that confidence, sort of lay those breadcrumbs for next school year and all of those pieces. And I was reminded recently of one of the great ways to do that is to go from real world data sets. We so often show our students, especially those of us in science and social studies, where we're using our data to teach a particular content, to teach a specific learning goal that relates to our content, as we should, which is really, really important in our content subject areas. Or in our math classrooms, we are teaching the skill of the data, of the making the graph, of the fitting the function. Great, super important. But it means that oftentimes our data sets or the data visualizations that we're using with our students are sort of falling flat for them. They're like, okay, I don't really get why this is important. I'm only doing this because this is what my teacher wants me to do type of situation. And that doesn't feel good for anyone, right? So we can use actual visualizations out in the real world to spark their interest. Now, am I suggesting that we launch into super complicated, mixed factor, or mixed regression modeling, things like that? No PCA analysis for our fourth graders, but we can look at, make sense of, identify, orient to, describe and analyze patterns in visualizations that are far more complex than we can make at any point, especially for our novices as they're moving through. Therefore, there's this great opportunity to lean into, what are you seeing? What's showing up in your local newspaper? What's showing up on the social media feeds of your school board or in your town or the town that your school is in, or that is, of interest and relevance to your students timely in this moment. There were so many great visualizations that were coming out in March, all around March Madness. We are getting to the end of lots of spring seasons. Can you lean into those different pieces? And there are 2 great resources that I want to call out of other ways that we can look for and find different visualizations. And actually, now that I'm saying that, there's a third that I was thinking of. And it's data in the real world. And we've got a link to it that it's not coming up right now. So I will find that link and I'll put it in the comments for this live session. But let me call out 2 of a good handful of resources to think about, Kristen, great. Okay, I want to engage my students. I want to engage them in real world data. One, it creates that authenticity of, we're not just doing this to do it for doing its sake for school, but actually there's a real purpose and We know that. How do we help our students know that like this is a life skill that we are helping them build as we're building their data skills? It also creates that, oh, the topics might be a bit more interesting to our students. It might, connect and resonate and engage them in slightly different ways. So that's an engagement piece. And then 3, there's the engagement piece of sometimes it's really exciting to be like a little pushed out of our comfort zone, a little pushed on our learning edge. And not for all of our students, but for some of our students, that's really what they need, because they sort of feel like it's wash, rinse, repeat a little bit with the data sets or visualizations that we're working on, regardless of how well they can actually work on those visualizations. I'm not saying that they have fully mastered them, but sometimes they think that they're like, I got this. I don't need to work on this one. So 2 that I want to share out, great resources are, let's see, can I pull this up for us? Yep. Okay. So here, the New York Times, every week in partnership with the American Statistical Association, I think that's what ASA stands for. Really bad with acronyms, y'all. Puts out, they take one of the visualizations that the incredible team behind the data visualization desk at the New York Times, AKA many, many adults, fully employed, full jobs, creating these data visualizations, and they pull it out of the article, and they have students engage with it. So this week's is what's going on in this climate. What's going on in this graph is about climate threats. And what I love about this is that it's taking this like really big topic and it's saying, okay, so what county do you live in? Let's put it in and you can see. So let's see. I do not live in Washington County, but I know people who live in Washington County. So it's like way up here in Maine. It's sometimes called the Sunrise County because they see the sun first for the United States. So the greatest climate threat is hurricanes because, right, there are a range of different ways that climate can be impacting us. Hurricanes, extreme rainfall, sea level rise, water stress, wildfires, heat stress, all of these, it doesn't look exactly the same in all of our counties around the United States. And so what's really fun is that, one, this is real world data. Thanks to, let's go down here. So thanks to 427, which is pulling off of a variety of different resources where the data is coming from. It's by county, so you can search your county, and we can also see, oh, there's some groupings of which climate threat is the deepest in different places. Now, this is just one of many what's going on in this graph visualization. And usually it's right down here at the bottom. We can see different opportunities from different points in time of different kinds of graphs that we can engage with. Now, what's here below the visualization each week are some prompting questions. If you want, you can jump in and you can sort of engage and have some interactions with the visualization, or you can search for a specific one. So this one, what's going on, the climate threats, actually came out a little while ago. And so that's why I'm saying by Friday morning, October 23rd, we'll provide the reveal of what's actually going on in the visualization. So you can use the archives of what's going on in this graph to find something that is maybe topic relevant to your content or topic relevant to your students. You know your students best. Or you can just go by the one that is in this particular week. Another great resource that I want to share out are the data talks put out by U-Cubed. I will put the link for this in because it's a little circuitous at the moment. How do you find them? But they're these 5 to 10 minute classroom discussions, very similar to how you can facilitate what's going on in this graph from the New York Times, but they've pulled some that are a little more, they're kid-directed, kid-focused. I love that they've partnered with NASA to put together some NASA data talks using NASA data, but there's a wide range of different kind of topics, and they give you suggested grade bands on the different visualization, and you can jump in. It has the suggested questions for how to facilitate it the same way what's going on in the graph has suggested questions for what to facilitate. And it's a variety of different topics, just like what's going on in the graph. So those are 2 resources. And what I'll also do is put in the comments our link to this Google Doc that we have, where we're like constantly dropping in links of like, where's a good place to access real world data to have your students engage with it and play with it. Because remembering, there's a variety of different ways that engages our students. 1, the content might be more exciting to them. 2, the visualization might be a little more complicated than they themselves can make, but they're ready to make sense of it, look at it, describe, analyze the patterns in it. And 3, it provides that authenticity of we are working on practicing our data skills because this is a life skill that we are building forward for us. No matter what we are going to go do in life, we need to be able to look at, make sense of, interact with our visualizations. Whew. Okay. Enjoy the week. Hopefully that was some good resources, a couple nuggets, some ideas of what you can do with your students in this week and the coming weeks throughout the rest of this school year. Until next week, stay curious, have fun exploring your data. Thanks